Your belly fat may not be refusing to burn because you're eating too much. It may be refusing because your body never truly leaves storage mode. That sounds impossible. After all, you've been eating less, counting calories, maybe even skipping dessert. Yet every morning, the mirror shows the same stubborn layer around your waist. The frustrating part is that your body isn't ignoring your effort. It's following biological rules that evolved long before calories were printed on food labels. The mistake most people make is believing fat loss is simply an arithmetic problem. Eat less, burn more. The math looks perfect, but biology doesn't always behave like mathematics. Today, we're going to uncover the hidden metabolic system, deciding whether your body stores energy, spends it, or protects it at all costs. Once you understand this system, you'll stop asking why your belly fat won't disappear and start asking a much better question. What is my metabolism trying to protect? The energy network. Imagine your metabolism as an entire city's energy distribution network rather than a single fuel tank. Every meal is like a fleet of delivery trucks arriving at the city gates. Those trucks carry glucose, amino acids, and fats, the raw materials your cells need to survive. Most people imagine these trucks driving directly into fat cells. That isn't how the journey begins. The city's first priority is keeping its factories running. Those factories are your muscles, brain, heart, liver, and every other tissue, demanding energy every second of the day. Only after immediate needs are met does the city decide where the remaining cargo should go. Your muscles play a surprisingly important role here. Although we often think of muscle as something that simply moves the body, metabolically it behaves like an enormous warehouse capable of storing large amounts of glucose in the form of glycogen. Healthy muscles act like flexible storage centers. They can accept incoming fuel, hold it safely, and release it later when movement demands energy. This is one reason physically active people often handle meals differently from sedentary individuals, even when they eat similar foods. Their warehouses have room. Now imagine what happens when those warehouses stay nearly full day after day because they are rarely emptied through movement. The delivery trucks still arrive. The city still has to unload them somewhere. Eventually, more cargo begins flowing toward long-term storage. That storage is body fat. Notice what didn't happen. Your body didn't suddenly become lazy. It didn't decide to punish you. It simply followed its operating instructions, the traffic controller. At this point, insulin usually enters the conversation, and unfortunately, it has developed a terrible reputation online. Many people speak about insulin as if it were the enemy itself. They blame every kilogram of body fat on one hormone. Biologically, that's an oversimplification. Think of insulin as the city's traffic controller. Every time nutrients enter your bloodstream, insulin coordinates where those nutrients should go. It helps move glucose from the blood into tissues that can immediately use it or safely store it. Without insulin, blood glucose would rise to dangerous levels, and many cells would struggle to access the fuel they need. In other words, insulin performs one of the most essential jobs in human physiology. The problem begins when the traffic controller has to work harder and harder to keep the city functioning. Imagine a growing city with the same number of roads but more delivery trucks arriving every day. Congestion increases. More traffic signals become necessary. Routes become less efficient. The controller keeps giving instructions, but the system gradually responds less effectively than before. Your body answers this challenge by producing stronger signals to maintain stable blood glucose. From the outside, it may appear as though insulin itself created the problem. In reality, insulin is trying to solve it. That distinction matters because it changes how we think about stubborn belly fat. Instead of asking how to fight insulin, we begin asking how to improve the efficiency of the entire traffic system. The overflow problem. Now comes the question millions of people ask every single day. If I'm eating fewer calories, why is my belly fat barely changing? Logically, reducing food intake should force the body to empty its fat stores. Sometimes it does. But your metabolism isn't evaluating today's lunch in isolation. It constantly measures energy availability, storage capacity, movement demands, hormonal signals, sleep quality, and even stress. Think back to our city. Suppose fewer delivery trucks arrive than before. That certainly reduces incoming cargo. But what if the warehouses are still rarely emptied because the factories remain inactive? What if the city's managers become increasingly cautious because supplies appear unpredictable? Under those conditions, the city may slow expansion, reduce unnecessary spending, and protect its emergency reserves rather than rapidly emptying them. Your metabolism behaves in surprisingly similar ways. Its primary mission is not making you lean. Its primary mission is keeping you alive. Every decision it makes serves that objective first. The belly fat mystery. Not all body fat behaves the same way. The soft layer just beneath your skin and the fat packed deep around your internal organs may look similar from the outside, but biologically, they are very different environments. Think of your body as a city with neighborhoods. Some neighborhoods are quiet suburbs where supplies can sit for years with very little activity. Others are busy commercial districts where materials move in and out constantly. Belly fat surrounding the abdominal organs is much closer to the city's busiest intersections. It communicates continuously with the liver, blood vessels, hormones, and immune system. It is metabolically active. That doesn't mean it disappears easily. It means it constantly participates in the conversation about energy management. This is why improving your overall metabolic health often changes far more than your waistline. You're changing the conversation inside the city itself. The muscle advantage. Now let's return to the warehouses. Earlier we described muscles as storage centers. That description is true but incomplete. Healthy muscle is not just a warehouse. It is also one of the largest consumers of glucose in your entire body. Every time your muscles contract, millions of tiny biochemical events begin unfolding inside each muscle fiber. The muscle isn't simply burning calories. It starts asking for fuel. Imagine every warehouse in the city suddenly opening hundreds of new loading docks. Delivery trucks that were circling the streets now have somewhere useful to unload. Researchers have discovered that muscle contraction activates pathways that help move glucose transporters called GLUT4 toward the surface of muscle cells. Think of GLUT4 as automatic loading doors. When more loading doors open, glucose can move from the bloodstream into muscle much more efficiently. Here's the fascinating part. Some of these loading doors can open simply because the muscle is working. Not because you're eating less, not because you found the perfect diet, not because of a miracle supplement, because your muscles are doing the job they evolved to do. Movement changes the city. That explains something many people find confusing. A 30-minute walk after a meal doesn't burn hundreds of calories, yet it can still have meaningful effects on how your body manages incoming glucose. The benefit isn't only the calories burned during the walk. The benefit is that thousands of muscle fibers have started asking for fuel at exactly the moment new fuel is arriving. Suddenly, the delivery system becomes more efficient. The plateau nobody expects. Now imagine someone begins dieting. Week 1 feels exciting. The scale moves. Motivation is high. By week 4 or 5, everything slows down. The same meals produce different results. The same effort feels less rewarding. Most people conclude that their metabolism has become permanently damaged. That conclusion sounds logical, but biology tells a more interesting story. Your body constantly adapts. If energy intake falls for long enough, your metabolism begins looking for ways to conserve resources. It may reduce unnecessary movement. You fidget less without noticing. You sit down sooner. You unconsciously choose the elevator instead of the stairs. Small changes accumulate. Meanwhile, hunger signals may become stronger because your brain is trying to protect long-term energy reserves. Again, this isn't your body working against you. It's your body working exactly as evolution designed it to work. For thousands of generations, rapid weight loss usually meant famine. The safest response was conservation. This is why two people eating identical meals can experience very different progress. Their metabolic histories are different. Their muscle mass is different. Their daily movement is different. Their sleep is different. Their stress is different. The city is responding to thousands of signals, not just one number on a nutrition label. The stress signal. Now let's introduce another manager inside our city. Stress. Most people think about stress as an emotional experience. Your biology sees something much broader. Poor sleep, long working hours, psychological pressure, illness, recovery from hard exercise. They all send information to the same metabolic control network. When those signals remain elevated for long periods, your body may become increasingly cautious about spending energy. Think of city officials hearing constant emergency broadcasts. Even if supplies are available, They become reluctant to empty reserve warehouses too quickly. Your metabolism evolved to survive uncertainty. That's why sustainable fat loss rarely depends on one habit alone. Food matters. Movement matters. Sleep matters. Recovery matters. Each one sends information into the same decision-making network. You're not controlling a single switch. You're influencing an entire operating system. The biggest myth. At this point, many people ask the same question. So what exercise burns belly fat the fastest? The question sounds reasonable, but it assumes your body withdraws fat the way you withdraw money from a specific bank account. That's not how human physiology works. You cannot tell your body to burn fat from your abdomen while leaving every other fat store untouched. There is no biological button labeled belly fat. When your body needs additional energy, it releases fatty acids into the bloodstream from fat tissue throughout the body according to hormonal signals, blood flow, genetics, and metabolic demand. Every cell capable of using that fuel participates in the process. This is why endless sit-ups rarely produce the flat stomach people expect. Sit-ups strengthen abdominal muscles. They do not selectively remove the layer of fat covering them. That doesn't mean abdominal training is useless. Stronger core muscles improve posture, stability, movement efficiency, and overall function. But visible abdominal definition comes from reducing total body fat over time, not from forcing one specific area to surrender its energy first. The environment that changes everything. Now let's stop thinking about fat burning as an event. Instead, think of it as an environment. Imagine trying to grow a healthy forest. You wouldn't spend every day pulling on individual leaves, hoping they grow faster. You would improve the soil, protect the roots, provide water, allow sunlight to reach the ground. Once the environment improves, healthy growth becomes the natural outcome. Your metabolism follows the same principle. Instead of asking how to burn more fat this afternoon, ask how to create a body that naturally prefers using stored energy when appropriate. That environment begins with muscle. Every walk, every resistance training session, every staircase you choose instead of the elevator, every opportunity to interrupt long hours of sitting. These actions do more than burn calories. They continuously remind your muscles to remain active participants in energy management. Nutrition matters just as much. The goal is not to fear carbohydrates or chase extreme dietary rules. The goal is to provide your body with meals that support stable energy, adequate protein, fiber, and long-term consistency, rather than repeated cycles of restriction followed by overeating. Consistency changes biology far more effectively than perfection. Then comes sleep. One poor night's sleep won't erase months of progress. But chronic sleep deprivation changes the signals your brain sends about hunger, recovery, and energy balance. The city becomes noisier. Decision-making becomes less efficient. Recovery slows. Finally, remember stress. Stress isn't simply an emotion. It is biological information. When recovery improves and daily stress becomes more manageable, your metabolism receives another signal that resources are no longer under constant threat. The city gradually shifts from emergency management toward normal operation. The mirror test. Now think back to where we started. You looked in the mirror and saw stubborn belly fat. It felt like proof that your body had stopped responding. But the mirror only shows the final result. It cannot show the conversations happening beneath your skin. It cannot show your muscles becoming more efficient at handling glucose. It cannot show your cells responding more effectively to movement. It cannot show thousands of metabolic decisions being made every minute to keep you alive. Those changes happen quietly long before they become visible. That's why real metabolic improvement often feels slow. Your body repairs the operating system before it changes the appearance of the machine. This is also why chasing quick fixes usually ends in disappointment. Temporary strategies may produce temporary results, but your biology always returns to the rules that kept humans alive for thousands of years. The real goal. Perhaps the biggest shift isn't losing belly fat at all. It's understanding what belly fat is trying to tell you. Your body is constantly collecting information. How much are you moving? How well are you sleeping? How often do your muscles demand energy? Are nutrients arriving in a predictable pattern? Can energy be safely released without risking survival? Every answer influences the next metabolic decision. When enough of those answers begin changing in the right direction, fat loss stops feeling like a battle of willpower. It becomes the natural consequence of a healthier metabolic environment. Your belly fat was never your enemy. It was simply one visible chapter in a much larger biological story. And now you know where that story is actually written. Not in your waistline, but inside the invisible network that decides how your body stores, moves, and spends energy every single day. When you stop fighting your biology and start working with it, something remarkable happens. You no longer chase fat loss. You build a metabolism that makes fat loss increasingly possible. And that is a goal your body was designed to support from the very beginning.